Hello, A24 Rocks fans. Tonight, I'd like to welcome you to another A24 Vibe discussion. So far, we have ranked our top 10 films from 3 different decades, the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s. And so tonight, we want to do at least one more top 10 list. You got it right. It's our top 10 from 2000 to 2009, the decade I'd say we are all most familiar with outside of the last decade. But actually, to be honest, I was probably too drunk up in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan to really know what was going on in the last decade. But anyway, I'm Eric, and tonight I'm drinking a Jefferson's Ocean Aged at Sea Rye. How about you, Kevin? What are you drinking?
Oh, tonight I decided to switch over to beer. I've given my liver a little break from the whiskey. I'm drinking a fruit punch sour from Youngblood Beer Company out of Madison. That's called One Person Conga Line. Yep. It's delicious. It's fruity and yummy, and not whiskey. So there's that.
Tubular. Cole, what are you drinking?
Hey, it's Cole William with Gibson. Tonight I am drinking one of my favorite gins. It is the Knickerbocker Barrel Aged Gin from New Holland Distillery, and threw it in a little GNT. So that's what I'm having. A little light, little classy.
Nice.
Feeling it.
You know, sometimes I don't even introduce myself because Eric just goes, "Hey, Kevin, what are you drinking?" I go, I'm drinking beer. But
yeah, I just want to get things moving, you know. But
if they don't know who I am by now,
yeah,
they're picking a weird episode to start on.
If y'all don't know who we are, we all love A24 films, and we do these vibe discussions because we wanted to kind of fold in other topics to get people to watch more A24 films. So maybe they click on an episode and they're like, "Huh, this is an interesting topic," and then they will see all these A24 films we watched, and they're like, maybe they'll start watching it.
A24 Vibe Discussion.
I wanted to also say this decade was probably my most formative decade, as I graduated high school in 2009. So I would say that my whole personality might have been formed in this decade. Kevin, how about you give us some memories from this decade? What do you remember from 2000 to 2009?
Oh, man. So literally the most formative years of my life. I mean, we're graduating junior high, going through high school, and then going off to college and not graduating on time. But I finished, just not in the decades of 2010. But it's literally the decade that formed everything about who I am, from like a art perspective, even probably from a personality perspective, and I don't know, just life itself. It was coming on the back of the 90s, where there was a whole lot of new stuff going on, and it was just like, a blast off. When Y2K didn't end the world, I think everyone was pretty excited, right? Yeah. And then we just got to see a lot of cool shit that happened from then on out. So, yeah, just memories of pretty much damn near everything, and being a formulative part of my life.
If I had to, probably think of the biggest things that happened in this decade, well, the George W. Bush presidency, Iraq War, going into Barack Obama getting elected, the first African-American president in our country's history, and then also social media, MySpace to Facebook, and was Twitter might have been 2010. Cole, what would you say are some, the biggest things that happened this decade?
I mean, 9/11, obviously.
Oh. I kind of went straight to Iraq War and forgot 9/11.
Twitter was founded on March 21st, 2006.
Wow.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think you kind of touched on the main ones from a social perspective, which is the kind of the social media and Facebook and MySpace. I remember when those first came out, and I was a little bit younger when they came out, so I had to lie about my age to get a Facebook and start that up. Yeah, it's just growing up in that era of the 2000s was such a fun, unique time, because it was that transition from computers were this new thing that businesses used, and then it progressed into everyone had a computer, and the internet grew and boomed, and then all of a sudden,
what they called it, the .com bubble?
Yeah, where just all of a sudden, everything you could get access to anything and everything you could want, and our little brains were being scrambled by the internet. So it was
smartphones.
Yeah,
that started in 2007. So
yeah,
first smartphone, and yeah, I mean social media, we all remember it started with MySpace. I was like a little emo kid on MySpace, still listening to My Chemical Romance, Fall Out Boy, Taking Back Sunday. You know, we had our top friends on MySpace and everything. And then Facebook came out, and I feel like it ruined all the fun eventually. But, you know, this decade did have a few inventions that really changed the sphere of the universe, I would say. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And like thinking back on like the difference between the year 2000 and then 2009, it felt like they went a millennia between them. Like it was such a ridiculous ramping up of technology and everything that those 9 years felt like, you know, an eternity in that amount of time. It's just
Yeah.
weird to think about them in the
exponential
same
growth, because all of a
conversation.
sudden you could get, you know, it wasn't just like a small group of people that all lived next to each other working on some technology. They could like share the ideas and then get other people to work on them from all over the globe. And next thing you know, when you get 100 people working on a project versus 10 in Seattle, it expedites things pretty quickly.
Right, and they're all connected.
And all right, I'll do our top 5 Billboard hits of the 2000s. "We Belong
Ooh.
Together" by Mariah Carey is number 1. That's surprising to me. "Yeah" by Usher, number 2, featuring Lil Jon and Ludacris. "Low" by
Okay.
Flo Rida, featuring T-Pain at number
That
3.
one's- yeah.
"I Got a Feeling" by the Black Eyed Peas at number 4. That's definitely like a
Mhm.
high school.
Oh yeah.
Actually, wait, I graduated the spring of that year. So that came out the summer after I graduated high school. Number 5 is probably my favorite song of all time, "How You Remind Me" by Nickelback.
Of all time.
Yeah, of all time.
You know what
And
happened in
then-
2005?
2005.
9/11?
That was
No. I'm
no.
just saying,
"How
do
You
know
Remind
what
Me" was
happened?
2001. But
No.
wait,
I
what
didn't
happened
know
in
if you were
2000?
done with your list, but
No, yeah.
2005, YouTube was launched. You know,
Ooh,
where we
okay.
are today with YouTube being
Yep.
such a massively influential thing. 2005 was the beginning of that whole thing.
yep. And then
Wild.
okay, our top 5 films from highest grossing films from that decade. Number 1's Avatar, grossing
Yeah.
like $2 trillion worldwide. Number 2, Lord of the Rings: Return of the King. Number 3, Pirates of the Caribbean: Dead Man's Chest. So it was actually the sequel that grossed more than the original. Number 4, The Dark Knight. And number 5, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. So
You know what happened in 2006? That was kind of a big deal.
Wait, is it the
Pluto
Philosopher's
was
Stone?
expelled from the Planetary
I
Club.
thought it was
Well, Philosopher's Stone was the British name for it when it first came out.
so it was Sorcerer's Stone, but
Yeah.
I'm just reading online Philosopher's Stone. Maybe I read a British list,
Correct.
but
Yeah. But,
those are
but it's more
worldwide
importantly,
grossing films. Yep.
Pluto, guys. Pluto
Yeah.
was expelled as a
Oh
planet
my
in 2006. Like,
God,
how would
I
we
can't
forget
believe
that?
they did that to my boy.
Yeah.
It's such a big thing, like fucking Pluto, man.
Did it start going out of orbit or something?
I don't
You-
know.
Like going out of
You said-
orbit of the sun.
Yeah.
He said iPhone
Guys.
2007. Yeah, that was a
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, okay. Pluto not being a planet was definitely the worst thing that happened from 2000 to 2009. By
Yeah,
far.
for sure. Just the absolute
Think about all
worst
the
thing.
maps they had to change. All those
Yeah,
like,
all the
oh my
history books that were just
God.
totally irrelevant now. Science
That's
textbooks?
crazy.
God,
That's
Yep.
pretty fucked up, if you ask me.
pretty fucked up. Poor Pluto. They deserve better.
Yeah. Well, tonight we are giving our top 10 films from 2000 2009, as previously mentioned, and I guess enough of the banter about what was going on. You know, I love my nostalgia, but let's get into these lists. Kevin, I want you
Yeah.
to start out from
Why?
top 10 films.
I'll do
from
it.
I don't know. You're the oldest, like we always say.
Oh!
So.
Oh! Wow. All right, so we're gonna do 10 through 6, and
Yeah,
then
10
we'll
through
pass
6,
it on.
Comment with them 5 through 1 for each of us. Yep.
All right, sounds great.
Yep.
All right, so as I was going through this list, everybody, we obviously have a difference between the critical acclaim things, the ones that we love the most, the things that were critically loved by all of the people out there versus just feel good action flicks or whatever you may have you. So this list is a little bit of both of those things, but I'll kind of just start with number 10 is the 2007 comedy classic Superbad. Written by Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, starring Jonah Hill, Michael Cera, Bill Hader. This film was inspirational and influential on a lot of youth, we'll say, of that time period. It was one of those classic films that kind of just set Seth Rogen on his way to becoming who he is today. Same with Jonah Hill. Michael Cera took a big bump from that film, and such a quotable, ridiculous flick. Soundtrack's phenomenal. Just one of those things where McLovin will be always kind of put into the world as far as world of cinema and remembered. So I could not leave it off my list. I really do love that film one way or another, so it makes my top 10. Number 9 is the 2000 art piece, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Written and directed by the Coen brothers, starring George Clooney and John Turturro. That film is not only beautiful from a cinematic standpoint, but the soundtrack is absolutely legendary. It is one of those old-timey feel-good films that just has a lot of soul to it. It's just a tour de force from some of the actors, and it's just a really, really memorable film for me, and was one that I definitely wanted to make sure to put on this list just for all those reasons. Number 8 is the 2006 action James Bond reboot, Casino Royale. That's right, the debut of Daniel Craig as Ian Fleming's titular character, James Bond, in the third screen adaptation of the film Casino Royale. It was his novel from 1953. And Mads Mikkelsen plays opposite him as the villainous The Schiff. I really like James Bond as a character in film history. All of the different variations, Roger Moore and Sean Connery and Pierce Brosnan, and of course here with Daniel Craig. And this was the first Daniel Craig film, and it kind of rebooted the entire franchise after 2002 was the last time that they had one. So it kind of was bringing it back around and saying, we're still here with a brand new Bond and a brand new attitude. So great film. I love it. And it kind of just branched off and continued where we are today with 007 still living in cinemas everywhere. Number 7 is the 2003 Quentin Tarantino film Kill Bill Volume 1, starring Uma Thurman. Volume 2 was released 6 months later. I can't include both of them, but I'm going to say both of them anyway because they're kind of the same movie in my mind. I had to pick between this and Inglourious Bastards for a Quentin Tarantino film, and I went with this one mostly because I like Kung Fu. So it was really a no-brainer for me to try to take this wild, wild world of hyperviolence and ridiculous character building and Quentin Tarantino's just absolute mastery when it comes to what he wants to put on a screen. It's just an absolute roller coaster of a ride, and I love that movie a lot. And it's definitely one that gets many repeats for me. And then number 6 is probably my favorite comedy of all time. It is Anchorman, The Legend of Ron Burgundy. I absolutely fucking love this movie. I've watched it more times than I can count. Will Ferrell is absolutely brilliant. So many one-liners. He says it to his day. It's his favorite character he's ever played. It was one of those movies that kind of just happened at the right place and the right time. He teamed up with former SNL writer Adam McKay and went on to produce such classics like Talladega Nights, Step Brothers, the other guys. And Judd Apatow was part of this project too. And he goes on to do A 40-Year-Old Virgin, Knocked Up, and just so many others. So like this film for me is kind of like that watershed moment where it was like, all right, we're here. This is the start of something just absolutely freaking brilliant in the comedy world. And 2004 is kind of where it all got started for me with Anchorman. So there's 10 through 6.
Cool. Yeah, no, I would say this list so far might be more eclectic than your normal lists are. Like, I feel like you usually go heavy in the favorites. And this one, at least you threw like Kill Bill Volume 1 on there for the 10 through 6, and Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, which are more like critically acclaimed films. And okay, you got 2 like comedies on here. You got an 2 action films, I would say, in Kill Bill and Casino Royale, and then you got a musical. So probably I would say you're one of your more eclectic lists out of all the ones we've done. Yeah,
I appreciate that. No, it was a good list, and they're on there for a reason. Like, these are all really great movies that I've enjoyed, and that just happens that they're awesomely rated in some circumstances as well. So, yeah, thanks.
Cole, what do you think of his list?
Well, I've never seen Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? So I probably should.
I think you'd like that one.
Yeah, it's been on my list, and I see it every once in a while as I'm like scrolling through the streaming services, and I'm like, I really should watch that, and then I just keep scrolling. So If it's on Kevin's list, I guess I should probably give it a watch. Something about George Clooney's face, I don't know what it is. It's just like he kind of annoys me, but
It's too handsome for you.
No
Yeah, too
human
handsome.
should look like that. It's not real.
If you don't like George Clooney and you want to see him get like beat up, watch Burn After Reading, another Coen
Yeah.
Brothers film.
That's
I have
true.
seen that.
That's
one.
when you'll like it because he's pathetic.
That is pretty
Yeah.
funny. I like that one.
Actually, he's kind of pathetic in this one
Okay.
too, so you probably would enjoy that about
All
this
right.
film.
Pathetic George
fair.
Clooney. Now I'm into it. Otherwise, I like your list a lot. I always have. I mean, I love Superbad and I love Anchorman, and like growing up, my buddies and I would quote those movies so often. But I always have a hard time putting some of like those films in my top 10 because of I don't know, maybe it's just like the negative connotation of a true comedy or like the slapstick comedy movies where they just, they're so funny and they're so good, but they never seem to win those awards, and maybe I just fall into the I don't know, the trap of not thinking they're as good as they really
Cool,
should be.
You put Tommy Boy and Dumb and Dumber on your top 90s list.
Yeah, but
Ooh.
those are better.
I mean, they're
Interesting.
classic. They're brilliant, and I love them both. But
I think
better.
that those ones were definitely a nostalgia hit, mostly with like my watching it with like my dad and stuff like that. So I fell into the nostalgia.
I will
trap
go
on
ahead
that
and
one.
say Superbad is the Breakfast Club of our generation. I stand by that.
Yeah,
I think
could say
that
yeah,
every
I agree.
generation has one of those high school movies where it's like a movie that doesn't have a very big plot, but then it just really hits home for some reason for that specific generation. And I think Superbad is that for millennials. So,
1,000%.
yeah. So I actually think Superbad might transcend more than other comedies. Anchorman, yeah, like it's hilarious film, but yeah, I also am with Cole where I have trouble putting straight comedies like into my top 10 because I guess it's like I think of like why I love film, and it like growing up, especially during this time period, it made me think so much more about life and like philosophy and like expanded my brain to another level, I feel. And so I give some of those films the nod over like straight comedies, I guess. But
Yeah, and I would say complete
yeah.
opposite for me. Like, I was watching comedies and action films and the Oscar winners and like the really popular shit, mostly because I wasn't really into any of the really good movies. I watched a top 50 today, and there was 25 movies on there that I didn't even know. I was like, oh my god, there's a lot of good films from this decade that I have no idea even existed.
yeah. Well, I'm also surprised you don't have any Pixar or Disney films on here yet, but maybe those will come later. Maybe.
No, actually not. There's no animated
Oh,
films on my
okay.
list, oddly
Hey,
enough.
Kevin was
Interesting.
too cool for Pixar in the
All right.
2000s. He was a big boy.
Yeah, I mean, we've also look. Our listeners don't need us to hear to talk about Wall-E anymore. I mean, that movie is beautiful, but I don't know.
Well, guess what? I'm going to talk about it a little bit more in my list on this
And that's
top 10.
fair. I mean, Eric, it was like your
Yeah.
number one, wasn't it? Like, it was a big deal, or it was on your top whatever. But for me,
It was just on a few Mount Rushmores for me.
right, that's it. Right. Either way, I don't even know what I was trying to say with it, other than I give him all the credit in the world, but I just had to leave him off. I probably could have gotten rid of one of my comedies from one of the animated ones, but I couldn't pick. So there we are.
All right, well, I guess I'll go right in my top 10 since Wall-E was already mentioned here. My number 10 actually coincides with Kevin's number 10. It is Superbad in 2007. So, Kevin, we actually have crossover.
All right.
But and I'm guessing there's going to be a couple of these that might be in your top 5 that I have too low for some people, but I'm still going to go ahead. Number 9 is Wall-E, 2008. Like, I mean, I put it on several of my Mount Rushmore lists, and I think it's my favorite Pixar film from these 9 years. So I had to put it in my top 10. Number 8, The Dark Knight, 2008, the best Batman film of all time, and Heath Ledger's performance was just revolutionizing to the superhero villain game. And I might have this too low for some people. I think as I've grown older, I've gotten tired of superhero media. I think there's a lot of other films on this list that, like, they're just more cinematic and they're more like true cinema to me. And I guess they're a little more original. There's not as much source material. But that actually goes against my number 7 pick, which is No Country for Old Men, which is based off a book. So I guess I just put my foot in my mouth there. But but yeah, that's from 2007. We reviewed it just a few weeks ago, and we talked about how much we loved it. So if you want to hear us gush over that film, go back to that podcast. And then number 6 is a foreign film called City of God from 2002. This film, I mean, if you look at a lot of lists like Letterboxd, IMDb, it's in the top 25. And so that's how I mostly found random films when I was in middle school and high school. So I watched this film probably, I think, in early high school, and it was really impactful on me to like what film could be. And basically, it's a Brazilian film, takes place in Rio de Janeiro between the late 60s and early 80s. And it's about two different kids that knew each other in their childhood. One kid becomes a gang member, and the other kid becomes a photographer. And the kid that becomes a photographer is still around this gang member, taking pictures of the gang and basically all the horrible stuff that they're doing. But it's a great comment on the drug war, and also kind of how like drug gangs have taken over Rio de Janeiro and Brazil. That's a really, really good film. So there's my 10 through 6. Thoughts?
I don't have a lot of comments because I'm going to save them. Like you said, probably some of those are possibly on my list, higher up there. But they're all really good. City of God, I do want to watch, mostly because, like you said, it appears on a bunch of lists. And that one does pique my interest for sure. As far as Pixar's are concerned, I couldn't decide between WALL-E or Up as far as like the Pixar film outside of Toy Story. And Up's just too damn depressing, but WALL-E also makes me cry, so I really don't have...
also,
Let's go with Ratatouille. There you go.
Yeah.
That one, the rat cooking things is a better
Classic
story.
rat.
And I
They're
guess
all
I
very
didn't know
good.
this, but Toy Story 2 and 3, there was an 11-year gap between them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
can't put a Toy Story on there.
Mm-mm.
But yeah,
sure.
WALL-E was probably my favorite from this decade. Cole, thoughts on my 10 through 6?
I have also not seen City of God, although every time I see it pop up, I always get it confused with the Matthew McConaughey movie Fool's Gold. Until I like, I don't.
They're so different.
Random as hell.
I don't know why it happened. I think it's mostly because I see like the kind of like gold tinted picture of like a woman kissing a dude, or looks like she's
Yeah,
kissing.
that's a romantic comedy that is not a foreign film.
I am well aware.
That's Matthew.
But it's just like the first thing that
addressing?
goes through my
Alright.
mind every time I
Well
see it.
aware.
I'm like, Matthew McConaughey. No, so I haven't watched it. I really want to see it. It's been on my list for a while, and when I was like looking up stuff for this, it popped up again, and I added it to my my watch list. So it's definitely gonna be there, and it's nice to know that you had it on there, so that actually someone I know and respect their opinions has watched it. And then like your rest of your selection, I think is pretty solid. I mean, WALL-E, we've talked about it, and Superbad is another great choice. So, No Country for Old Men. I don't know how you could think it's not a top 5, but maybe that's neither here nor there.
I guess I'll
We'll
tell
save
you
that
when I
opinion
get to
for
my top
ourselves.
5. But
Whoa, Cole. Guess
and
we'll
I'm
save that
also
for
thinking
ourselves.
you probably think The Dark Knight's too low for me, but that's
Look,
fine.
we'll save that opinion for when we get to the
know.
list, all right? Let's just save that for when we get to it.
Yeah. All right.
No spoilers.
No spoilers. Again, we can't debate your opinion without revealing our
Yeah.
own opinion.
Okay.
Retract this statement. Come back to it.
All right, Cole, give me your 10 through 6.
All right, so my 10 through 6 is number 10. I have similar to Kevin, I was conflicted on to whether or not to have this one or another one by this director, and I went with Kill Bill Volume 1 from 2003. I really was thinking about Inglourious Bastards, but when you really think about all the historical inaccuracies in that film, it really can't be a top 10. But yeah, so I have that at my number 10. Definitely got to respect Quentin Tarantino. At my number 9, I have Old Boy, which is a Korean film, and it is, it has one of the greatest fight scenes ever produced on film. This like classic, it's from a hallway, like you see basically the long hallway, and it's him just fighting through all these guys, and he's just like, it's a one shot, and he's at the end of it, you could just feel how tired and how just like spent he is from that fight, and it's very just like it's kind of strange story as you progress through. It's very well done. If you do go and watch this, there's a 2013 version with Josh Brolin. Not very good. Don't watch that one. Just go watch the 2003 version. My number 8, got to put a Ghibli film on here. So I got Spirited Away from 2001. It's a classic. I think the one that most people are familiar with when you say Studio Ghibli. So that's a good one. Definitely better than Pixar. Number 7, we have one of my favorite like sci-fi movies that came out that kind of blends my love of practical with CGI, and they do it so well, and that's District 9 from 2009.
We talked about that before.
Yeah. I don't know, something about this film, I just come back to it every so often, and I'll rewatch it, and every time I love it, and I love the concept of like essentially these alien ships. Their ship breaks down, and it's just filled with all the workers of this ship, and they're not the most well educated, and they're scared and confused and don't know what to do, just as we all would be in a sense, and kind of dealing with essentially an immigrant population, an illegal immigrant population moving in, and what do you do with them? They can't be sent back to where they're from because we don't know where they're from. I was really hoping we would get a sequel. They promised us a sequel. We're getting close to 20 years now, so I don't know if we ever will. But Peter Jackson, as the producer of that film, promised it to me, so I'm gonna hold him to it. And then my number 6 is another kind of sci-fi-esque film, but it's more of a post-apocalyptic. We've mentioned it also on this podcast before, and that's Children of Men from 2006. I love the story idea. I love the the shots, the action scenes, the cinematography, and just if you've ever seen it, there's a very eerie kind of cool scene where there's this war going on and something happens, and just the way everyone reacts to it is quite powerful and very, very cool. So I really like that movie a lot. So that's my 10 through 6. Kevin, you got any thoughts?
I love District 9. I also remember them promising a fucking sequel and then never getting it, because that movie ends like you just absolutely are begging for more. Like you have questions that are unanswered. You're like, what the fuck? So yeah, the fact that never happened, Peter Jackson, you better listen to this and get us a goddamn sequel. Spirited Away, awesome. I mean, you could put any number of Ghibli films on any of these lists. I already revealed that I don't have any animated ones on mine, but Howl's Moving Castle is my favorite Ghibli film, since I haven't really talked about it. Even in the animated one, I didn't pick one. But yeah, Howl's Moving Castle is my favorite. But Spirited Away is classic, and really showed the power of Japanese animation and how cool it can be. What was the name of it? Hard Boy or what, something? What's that number 9? Old Boy. Yeah, that side-scrolling scene with the hatchet, where he's just like freaking going to town, and it's I've just seen clips of it.
I'll tell you what, the story is very. There's a lot of weird twists and turns, and it's because you don't know what's happened to him, and he doesn't even know what's happened to him, and it's like he's trying to find out as you're trying to find out. It's one of those kind of films.
Is it a foreign language film?
Yeah, it's awesome though.
Yeah, I've actually never seen Old Boy, and that's one that definitely slipped through my grasp, but is also on like the top, I think like top 50 on Letterboxd and on IMDb. So I need to go see that.
Children of Men, same thing for me. Like when we got done talking about it during the post-apocalyptic movie, and Caitlin took it, and I was like, that movie, that sounds fucking awesome, and now I really need to see it. Yeah. So gotta get on it.
District 9 is definitely a film I forgot about until we did our like Mount Rushmore of apocalyptic films, and that's like I remember going to see that in theaters and really enjoying that. But it wasn't a film, I guess, that stuck with me all this time because I didn't really remember it as much. And then Kill Bill being on everybody's list, I really enjoy that.
Yeah.
But I will blow everyone away and say I don't even have a Quentin Tarantino film from these years on my list. So maybe I'll disappoint everybody, but that's okay.
Sounds like you don't like feet.
Each their own.
Whatever, man. Yeah. You're not a foot guy. Feet. It's cool.
Feet. More of a hands person, for sure. Yeah. But yeah, no, I respect this list. No problems. Spirited Away. Also, that's probably my favorite Hayao Miyazaki / Studio Ghibli film. So I know it's the most accessible to everybody, but still great.
Yeah, I mean, accessibility is not. I don't think that should ever be necessarily a negative, unless it hurts the film itself.
absolutely.
So
Definitely.
I'm
All
with
right, let's get into our top 5 then. Why not?
you. Okay.
Thinking maybe I will start out with this top 5 because Kevin went first in the top 10, and I don't know. Maybe I'll have a couple on here that nobody else has on here. Who knows? But number 5, I have another foreign language film. So I had back-to-back foreign language films on here for 6 and 5. And my number 5 is actually from France, and it's a film called Amelie, put out in 2001. And it is kind of like a romantic comedy, but it is done in such a creative way, and the screenwriting is like beyond phenomenal. Maybe one of my best, or my favorite screenplays of all time. And as you know, I really, really enjoy good screenwriting, so I think this is definitely one of my favorite films ever. Number 4, I have Children of Men, 2006. I think that Cole put Children of Men a bit too low, and he thinks I put No Country for Old Men a little too low. But, tish tosh, who cares?
They're both
Number
in the top
3
10, damn it.
Yeah, for sure. Number 3, I have Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. So I had to pick one, and that's from 2003. Had to pick one. We all agreed we can't just say the trilogy because that's 3 different films. And Return of the King, I think, maybe because I was so invested in it by 2003 that, the emotional ties at the end and how they tied it all up, that, made the film very poetic for me. And you still get, your great battle scene, and I know Two Towers is the favorite for a lot of, action lovers.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm somebody who's not, just a big fan of pure action all the time. So I went with Return of the King, and I guess I just really enjoyed the ending of all of it. So number 2, I have my favorite screenwriter of all time, his masterpiece, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind from 2004. Charlie Kaufman wrote that, and it's the film he finally won his Oscar for. I put, Being John Malkovich on my top 90s films, and this is probably, this is the best film he ever wrote. And Spike Jonze was the director, I believe, Jim Carrey starring, and Kate Winslet also starring. And actually, a really cool, sci-fi film, too. It's one of those, sci-fi films that are very, close to real world. The theme of it and, the main idea of it is very science fiction. So I enjoy that a lot, too. And my number 1 film of 2000 to 2009 is There Will Be Blood from 2007. Daniel Day-Lewis's best performance that he ever put on film. And, I love Daniel Day-Lewis so much. And this was the film I saw in theaters. I think I had already seen Gangs of New York at this point, but then this was the one I saw in theaters, and it just, blew my mind. And I also think it's Paul Thomas Anderson's best film, and also really, brings in a historical aspect and, puts you in a time and place in history. And that's something I really, really love about film when it's done in a good way. And it's still a fictional work, but the time and place and just kind of the old tale of greed corrupting no matter what. When anybody gets a little bit of money, they start corrupting. And that's kind of a tale as old as time. And it's simple, but it's so well done. So that's my number 1 film. And Cole, thoughts?
There Will Be Blood as number 1. It's hard to argue against that film. I mean, it's so good, and it's. Again, the fact that No Country for Old Men and There Will Be Blood came out at the same time, filmed in the same places. It's just so funny and so great. Having a Lord of the Rings in your top 5, I think, is a must by literally any person that's ever seen a movie in the 2000s. So definitely respect that. I also just I wish in a way that cinema could go back to Lord of the Rings and how they treated those films, because 2001 it came out. blew everyone's mind. You know what they did 2002?
Fellowship did, yeah.
Yeah, 2002 Twin Tower
Two
came
Towers.
out. 2003 Return of the King.
Two Towers.
Yeah, Two Towers.
Not Twin Towers.
Not the Twin
dude.
Towers.
Come on.
I'm sorry, that was 2001. We're a year later.
Jeez.
But
like just the fact that Peter Jackson made this just like trilogy of films and did it all at once, and they were able to release them one year after another is just amazing. And it just makes me think, Jim Cameron, what the fuck are you doing with Avatar? God,
James Cameron.
James Cameron, you know.
Call him Jim.
Jim.
Fuck, he probably goes by Jim. His buddies call him Jim Cameron.
Jimmy
come on.
Cameron.
Hey, you know what?
Jimmy Cameron.
Him and I are on good terms. He's a Jim to me.
Go golfing, Jim Cameron and I.
But no,
Yeah.
I mean, your list is very solid. I have not seen Amelia. That's one that
Amelie.
Amelie. Man, I am just killing it with the names right now. That's one that I have not seen, but again, I've seen the posters a lot, seen it show up on my list quite a bit. I've just never jumped into the fold on that one. And then your number 2 was what was the name of that film again?
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. I don't think I've even heard of that one, and I'll have to-
Really?
What?
I
Jim
don't know.
Carrey?
Maybe I'll have to look
my
it
God.
up.
It was like his one serious, I never saw it, but it's super famous, man.
Eternal.
Yeah, it's very
Okay.
famous.
Never
It's very-
mind.
I
Never mind.
yeah.
I see the poster now.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, laying on the ice,
Yeah,
looking up at the
yeah.
stars.
Never
Yeah,
mind.
he
That
won
was-
best original screenplay for it.
You know, I'm
I really need to
tired.
see it, but I wanna,
I'm
like,
jet lagged.
watch it
I'm
the
not.
whole
I'm not 100% right now. But yeah. Okay. I definitely have seen. I haven't seen the movie, but I know of the movie.
But you know of the
Yes. So, it sounds like, you know, that's one thing that I love about doing these lists is I get a lot of good information from you guys and films that I need to push further up on my list as my ever growing backlog of film and TV shows. So
I love There Will Be Blood for me is like one of those films I've watched once, but it was so good the one time I watched it that I'm like, I could go back to it, sure, but the one experience was just so fucking great. I don't even know if I need to. Even though it's sitting on Blu-ray over on my counter over there, so maybe I will just pop it in and rewatch it. Fantastic. Paul Dano, like I said, Daniel Day-Lewis.
Paul Dano. Yep.
Oh my god. Fucking great ass film with some really, really just raw acting. Like just some incredibly just visceral moments where it's just the camera and the actor and you just let it roll and they just go. And that's some of the best film out there. Just pure character work.
There Will Be Blood is so fetch.
Yeah, I don't think Mean Girls is on anybody's list, so we can talk about it if we want. But
Yeah.
Mean Girls is a very good film in the 2000s.
I'll throw that out as
it's a
as an honorable mention. I actually enjoy Mean Girls, but yeah, I want to
Pink
still focus
Lindsay
on the top
Lohan.
5 here. But yeah, and yeah, like Lord of the Rings, it set like the bar for special effects in the early 2000s. I think that was when film turned to digital, right, Cole? And yeah, we really started getting into these special visual effects using computers in a whole different way for visual effects. And Lord of the Rings was so like visually just stunning when it came out to being shot in New Zealand and just, oh my gosh, like the way they could pull off this film finally after, I bet you people wanted to do this film for probably like 80 years after, J.R.R. Tolkien first wrote it. They like finally were able to do it with the special effects that they were given, and they like knocked it out of the park. It would have been very easy to just fuck up all the visual effects in this film and make it super cheesy and shitty, which they actually did with the Hobbit films. So yeah.
Yeah, what the workshop and the people that supported that film did just such a phenomenal job, and it's I just don't think you're ever gonna make something like a trilogy that spectacular for like a high fantasy setting.
Yeah, definitely not. All right, Cole, let's go to you for your 5 through 1 next, and leave
All
Kevin
right.
for last.
All right, so my number 5 was made by probably some of my favorite actors slash directors slash writers slash whatever you want to call them. But it's Simon Pegg, Nick Frost in Shaun of the Dead. It's the start of their Cornetto trilogies, and there's just something about that blend of British comedy humor in a zombie setting. 28 Weeks Later came out during this time, during those the 2000s as well, and that's regarded as probably one of the greatest zombie films of all time. With Shaun of the Dead just comes out, and I think maybe even does a better job, in my opinion, from a zombie perspective. So that came out in 2004. My number 4 is There Will Be Blood from 2000. I love that movie, but I've talked about how there's certain movies that I think might be a little bit better, might be higher up on my list. You can't go wrong with that film. Daniel Day-Lewis and everyone involved, and like the timepiece and just the visual effects and more of a practical effects, but the cinematography and everything is just so beautiful. Very well done, and the acting is just top notch. My number 3 is one of the greatest movies of the 2000s, and it just so happens to be a superhero movie, and that's The Dark Knight. I think that Christopher Nolan did something that no one thought would ever be possible, and I still don't think anyone's been able to accomplish what he did with those films. I mean, he made a superhero movie in a time where superhero movies were campy and really not very good, and he took one and turned it into reality and took like a dark, gritty approach, and took Batman and the perfect superhero to do this with, and just knocked it out of the park.
Disrespect to Spider-Man 3. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Spider-Man 3 really ruined
Dark
Tobey
and gritty,
Maguire.
baby. That whole emo dance scene. Dark and gritty.
So dark and gritty. Jeez, you gotta. Yeah. Meanwhile, you got Heath Ledger and Christian Bale, and they're debating on the efficacies of blowing up a boat full of prisoners or a boat full of, children and women, and it's like you can't save both. And then you got Tobey Maguire busting out a dance move with slick back hair. So what a time to be alive.
Spider-Man 2 was great though. That was going to be on my honorable mentions
for sure. For sure, like the Spider-Man movies, definitely good. But you look at Spider-Man, Spider-Man trilogy compared to the Dark Knight trilogy, it's just there's
not even close. Yeah,
not even close.
Overall, not even close. Yeah.
So, and then my number 2 is No Country for Old Men from 2007. I've talked about this movie a lot. Was No Country? Did I have the wrong date for There Will Be Blood?
2007 came out.
For some reason, I said There Will Be Blood came out in 2000. That's not right.
Yeah, 2007 for There Will Be Blood.
For both of them. But yeah, No Country for Old Men 2007. Phenomenal film. I've talked about it, I think, on 3 or 4 different episodes, and we had a whole episode devoted to it. So, fantastic film. Go out and watch it, then listen to our podcast, get the real in-depth story, find out some weird, kooky facts about Woody Harrelson that you may not know and will shock and surprise you. And then my number 1 is Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. I am so happy that Eric picked the proper one as the best one. I mean, I don't think there's really any that could... I think if you pick Fellowship, you are... you're very well versed in the Lord of the Rings lore. Return of the King, also good. If you chose the Two Towers, aka Twin Towers, you are an action man and you like Die Hard as a Christmas movie. So, shout out to you, Kevin.
Well, hold on now. Don't put me in a box here, asshole.
No,
growing up, everybody I think liked Two Towers the most of my friends, and I was way more of a. I'm gonna sound snooty. I was way more of a film nerd than them. And they liked the Two Towers because of the action. And
look, Helm's Deep was truly something that no one had ever seen on TV ever, though. Like cinema wise, like that battle alone, the whole film was long and whatever, but like the Battle of Helm's Deep was fucking probably the best scene in the whole trilogy, to be honest with you, for me anyway. But no, not number 2 being the best movie.
Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. That's my number 1 best film from the 2000s. And everyone should agree with me. So,
bada boom, bada boom.
Kevin, tell me why I'm right.
You're right. And we'll get to it on my list, I suppose. But you're right. I don't really have any comments because we've kind of been on every single one of your films already, one way or another, and they're all great bangers. And that's probably the issue we get into with doing these top 10s is that we end up like all doing the similar films because they're all really good and
I
kind of know what we're talking about when it comes
I'm
to movies.
pretty different than you guys.
Yeah,
mostly.
Eric's
Fine.
kind of weird.
You know, Eric's, whatever.
You guys haven't seen all these movies that I've seen,
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's your
exactly.
fault.
Nah, I know.
But we
I-
share. We still
You're
we
not
share
gonna
close to
pick
half.
the random
so-
Brazilian film from 2002.
Yeah, but I've
No,
seen
no.
Matthew McConaughey, Fool's Gold, so I feel like I've seen it. I feel like I've already seen it.
And also, like, putting No Country for Old Men above There Will Be Blood, that just shows, you just like your 90-minute films. And I know No
Yes,
Country
I
for Old Men's
do.
not exactly 90 minutes, but There Will Be Blood is
You
much
know.
longer. So
Hey.
I can see, I know why you put it there. It's because,
That's fair.
you can't
Alright.
sit through that extra 45 minutes.
Let's just get out of the way. I didn't put There Will Be Blood on my list. I think I already said that in this podcast, but I didn't do it. So sorry, you can run me
Sorry,
over.
you don't like Daniel Day?
Fuck you very much, sir.
Fuck you.
We're gonna drink your
Is it my turn
milkshake.
then? Are we segueing into my turn?
Yeah, no, I guess not. Well, one last thing, putting Dark Knight at 3. Yeah, I'm cool with that. I did put it a lot lower, and I did kind of give a jab to super media, but I think that film is separate from like the whole superhero media has gotten tiresome discussion. So
For
yeah.
sure. Respect.
Cool.
All right, Kevin, top 5.
All right. So I got some interesting tidbits in this top 5, I think, mostly because there's a couple movies in there that we haven't talked about yet. So hooray for that. Also I get to add my side of the argument on a couple of these big hitters that we've labeled as either too low or too high or not at all. So we're going to jump into that. So speaking of which, number 5 is No Country for Old Men, which marked the second Coen Brothers film on my top 10 for this decade. Obviously, this period of time was when they were coming out with some of their best work, and it really shows in No Country for Old Men. Go watch our episode if you want my entire opinion on this film, but there is probably no better villain in all of cinema than the one that Javier Bardem portrays in this film, plain and simple. So if for no other reason than that, it belongs on this list, and it is absolutely fantastic. Number 4, oddly enough, is the first rated R film that I ever watched ever in my life, and that is the 2000 Ridley Scott classic Gladiator, starring Russell Crowe.
I forgot.
That film, for me, was absolutely groundbreaking. It was action-packed. It had a great story. It was, showed a different time period. It, from a historical aspect, was just kind of an eye-opening experience for a younger me. And walked away from 5 Oscars from the Academy that year, and it was just one of those movies that kind of left a pretty big mark on me and cinema in general. So I think Gladiator is definitely deserves its flowers. And
You forgot to put that on your list, didn't you, Cole?
Yeah, I did. I really did.
I heard you grunt over there.
I don't know. I don't know how I don't know. I don't know if I just put the cutoff at 2001 and 2000. I don't know how I
You
forgot about
2000 doesn't count.
Gladiator.
To be fair, if you forgot, then that means it must not have made that big of an impression on you.
I guess, even though I disagree and I just feel like a big dum-dum.
You can support me, Cole. It's okay. I
No,
appreciate that.
yeah, Gladiator's fucking phenomenal, man. I don't know how they're gonna make a sequel. They're gonna fuck it up, but
Yeah, it's not going to be pretty, but they're going to try.
yeah.
Yeah. Ridley Scott has not been doing the best films lately, too, so.
Yeah.
No.
See if you can come out of this one.
Yeah.
Come out swinging.
All right. Number 3 is definitely my favorite, probably ever action film, and one that, I'm just going to get right into it. It's 2006, Martin Scorsese classic, The Departed. That film, top to bottom, is brilliant, hilarious. It's got some great acting. The writing is awesome. It has got some twists and turns. It stars some heavy hitters: Matt Damon, Leonardo DiCaprio, Jack Nicholson, Mark Wahlberg. It's Scorsese's one and only solo Oscar win. It was something that was just kind of like, I don't know. It wasn't high cinema and true cinema, but it was something fucking awesome when it came out, and I really, really just enjoyed that film. It's got a great soundtrack with some, Flogging Molly's and Dropkick Murphys in it. It's just got that whole Boston feel to it, and it's just a really, really good movie. So The Departed gets number 3 on my list. And that probably leaves, the top 2, which we have already talked about. Now, the order comes in is a little interesting because Eric made a claim that, maybe not a claim, but But let's get to it. Number 2 is Lord of the Rings: Return of the King, leaving number 1 for The Dark Knight. So,
All right.
Return of the King, for sure. Like you've already said, all of you, both of you, the best of the 3, the culmination. It's won 11 Academy Awards, tying it for, all time with Ben-Hur and Titanic. It's kind of a big deal. It's one of the 10 highest grossest film of all time, so it's made a bunch of money. It's one of the most influential films. It's widely regarded as probably the best film, at least in modern era. It makes all of the lists. It's just a really big deal, and Peter Jackson deserves all the credit in the world. So Return of the King. And The Dark Knight, for me, I guess it's probably because of my affinity for Batman and growing up as a kid, just a big Batman fan from having all of his comics and his action figures and loving all of the cartoons and everything. And when they made this Batman trilogy, the first one, I fucking fell in love with it. I was like, this is everything I want in a superhero movie to be. And then they made the sequel, and that came out, and Dark Knight was just on top of it, even better. Heath Ledger's performance was one of those chilling performances that you kind of watch, and you're like, man, is this real? Like, how does this guy embodies such a character that has been just indelibly built into the fabric of society from a perspective of movie, comic, art lore. And he did it in such a way that brought a character that was primarily on paper to life in such a way that made that film something memorable for not just moviegoers, comic book fans, but everybody. There's a reason that he won all of his awards posthumously after he passed, because that performance deserved it. He got Best Supporting Actor from all the major awards after that. And The Dark Knight, truly still to this day, even after all of the Marvel fervor, after all of all the crazy things that we have seen, for me as a superhero fan, that still is number 1. That still is the best superhero movie I've ever seen and probably ever will see. And that's absolutely why it deserves to be number 1 on my list of top 10 films from this decade, because it simply just exists in that time. So that's kind of what my thoughts are, guys.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with Dark Knight being number 1. It certainly was like a cultural touchstone from this decade. I do have a problem with Departed being number 3. I feel like that's one of Scorsese's lesser films, and that they just awarded him the Oscar because they were so embarrassed that they hadn't awarded him one before. But I'm not gonna rip on you too much for having that in there. But yeah, that's cool. And Lord of the Rings at 2, like we all talked about it. Yeah, I think it has to be top 3 for all of us. And yeah, Gladiator I like, but I guess it's just one of those films that didn't make as much of an impact on me when I watched it growing up. So I didn't have it in my top 10. But yeah, Cole. So you forgot to put Gladiator on your list, so you're not a big Ridley Scott fan, I'm taking it.
And then, what was your opinion on The Departed? Where do you line in the sand here?
I know, I'm just kidding.
What was that, Kevin? I'm sorry.
Do you like The Departed?
I do like The Departed. Do I think The Departed is a top 10 film? It's not on my list.
Clearly not, since it's not on your list.
But I don't think it's a bad film. And I think it's a fun film. I definitely have watched it a time or two, so I won't fault you for having it on there.
I think it's one of my personal favorites. That's probably why it's so high on my list.
I still like it. It's just like, well, I like Gangs of New York more for a Scorsese film from this decade, but I do think his best stuff came out in the 70s and 80s, and
I just never got into Gangs of New York. I tried, but Mr. Eagle Eye just got annoying.
Daniel Day-Lewis got annoying in there.
He did actually get annoying. I just wanted to make a joke about his Eagle Eye.
No, that's a really good film. I like Gangs of New York a lot.
Yeah. And I actually haven't seen Silence yet either, which is supposed to be another great Scorsese film. But yeah, I don't know. The Departed, I do think the Academy just kind of finally awarded him an Oscar because they felt
it's kind of like Leonardo DiCaprio getting an Oscar for The Remnant. Yeah, and it's like, I guess. But is that his best film he's ever done?
You fought a bear.
You fought a bear. Congratulations.
Fuck, man. Yeah, so.
Yeah, he should have fucking got it for Django.
There's a lot of films he could have gotten it for.
He would have been a supporting actor in that one, so.
No,
but he still should have gotten it, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I don't have any other problems, pretty much.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's good.
Cool.
I will say I'm surprised that Eric that you don't have In Bruges on your list.
That was going to be an honorable mention for sure.
Okay.
That got really close to number 10, but I really wanted to put Superbad on there because that was like, I think, just the most. I don't know. Like I said, the Breakfast Club of our generation.
I keep pronouncing it in Brudges. I'm like, what the fuck? I know this movie.
Okay, one I'm extremely surprised Kevin doesn't have on here, but maybe he just never saw it, and that's The Wrestler with Mickey
That's
Rourke.
exactly correct. I just never saw it. I know all about it, and I really want to.
You would love that film.
Oh, I know I do. And like, it's just like, oh, why haven't I watched it yet? So yeah, that's the only reason it's not on here. Correct.
It's like the dark, gritty, serious like depiction of a
Of an actual washed-up wrestler that has nothing left.
Yep.
Yeah, I really need to see it. Like on the worst
Donnie
way.
Darko got really close to number 10 for me. I love Donnie Darko.
That's a good one.
Yeah, Lost in Translation, also probably my favorite Sofia Coppola film. That's a great one.
Let's see, Unbreakable, honorable mention.
Unbreakable.
Little Miss Sunshine.
Yep, Little Miss Sunshine. Milk with Sean Penn and James Franco.
I was talking about Kung Fu earlier. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. 2000.
Yeah. Memento. Christopher Nolan's big start. And Juno, also like a really well written film, along with Sideways. I really loved Sideways. That was with Paul Giamatti.
That one's phenomenal.
That's a great film.
The Pianist.
And of course, Borat. You know, who can forget Borat?
Yeah.
I fucking love Borat.
I mean, I don't understand how we don't have a Fast and Furious on here, but that's fine.
how could we have missed that?
I mean, you've watched all 10.
I did.
Is the first one the best one?
I would say, I want to say it's the second one, but I can't remember if it, by the second one I mean Too Fast, Too Furious, or The Fast and the Furious because of the naming conventions.
but two other ones for me, not Mystic River. Wow, that's just not my
National
list.
Treasure.
Hurt Locker, and Castaway.
Oh, Hurt Locker. Yep.
Hurt Locker.
Yeah.
Hurt Locker's
What was the other one, Kevin?
Castaway.
Okay.
Castaway 2000.
Hurt Locker is really good, and that won Best Picture. And we were thinking about reviewing that instead of No Country for Old Men, but we went with No Country for Old Men. But yeah, maybe we'll review that one in the future because at that time, Iraq War, Fahrenheit 9/11, that came out like in 2000, 2009, and there was a lot of depictions of just like PTSD in the military, and a lot of depictions of like they were already doing films about the Iraq War when it really wasn't even done yet. So
right,
and they were just doing all these films on it at that time. And I think Hurt Locker probably was the best of all those films for sure.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever see Sin City?
Yes.
Sin City. Yep, that was a great
Frank
one.
Miller.
Very
Quentin
stylized, cool.
Fucking love that film.
Yeah.
I'm just going through this
Transformers,
list.
Shia LaBeouf, peak.
Oh my god.
Transformers.
Oh, and The Incredibles. That's one Cole loves.
Yeah, I do love The Incredibles.
Yeah.
Zack Snyder's best film and really only film, 300, came out in 2000.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Really
Team America, World
revolutionized
Police.
the slow-mo.
Team America World Police. Yep.
Team America.
Yes,
And Traffic will be the last one I mentioned. That one's really good. Another film about the drug war that, I don't know, just kind of broke boundaries there.
There's just so many I want to mention.
I was actually really surprised by like how great this era of film was, but I guess it was very formative to all of us. It's like, I swear I did not have as many honorable mentions on my like 70s, 80s, or 90s list, but maybe that's just because I wasn't in like middle school and high school in those years, so I wasn't as I wasn't watching as many films. I might not have watched as many like little known films during that time. So, all right, well, there's our top 10 films from 2000 to 2009. Thank you for listening to us, and thank you. Please subscribe. Please rate and join the discussion. Tell us what you think is the best film from 2000 to 2009. Tell us our films are, complete bullshit, and tell us why you think maybe, Spider-Man 3 should be on here instead of The Dark Knight. I really want to hear someone try to debate with us about that. So
communicate with us. Someone say hi. Come on.
I would love that.
Dark Knight has one villain. Spider-Man 3 has so many villains, I don't even remember them all.
They just are all there.
All right, have a good night,
Cool.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
A24